Hi everyone, we're on to Module 2 and today we're going to talk a little bit about networking concepts. This presentation is to accompany the Module 2 notes that are posted in the content section. So we don't need to know every detail about networking. You don't have to memorize the parts or the concepts, but it's important, I think, to have a conversational knowledge of networking so that if you are at an administrative position at some point, then you'll be able to understand what people are talking about, what the issues are, and what the possible solutions are. This is a sample network. So you have the core switch in the middle, and servers connected to it, some computers connected to it, other switches going around the building at different parts of the building. And you can see that these might connect to desktop computers or laptops. They might connect to wireless access points, or they might connect to servers. So then heading out to the internet, everything goes through this core switch, through a web filter, through a firewall, and then connects to the internet. So you can see multiple layers of security there. The way the network is designed is called network topology, and it's basically the design itself. The ring network in the lower right-hand corner was an original one, and everything connects from one computer to the next, to the next, to the next. As you can imagine, in this type of network, if there's a break point in one part of the circle, then the rest of it goes down. Another common one is the star network, where everything comes out from the center and is wired back to the main switches. So in each wing of a school or a building, you'd have a switch and all of the wires go out and back. With wireless networks, the end point here could be a wireless access point that would be placed in a room, and then these computers would be accessing off of the wireless access point. In the lower left-hand corner, you see another with the common bus. So the common bus is when you have the main line going down the hallway and you have the individual connections going to the rooms off of it. So even though you see one computer image here, this could go into a classroom and have several drops off of it. This is just a sample of what a floor plan might look like in a school. And again, you have the wires going through the building and being connected. You have these drops in each room, which is where you would be connecting desktop computers, printers, interactive whiteboards, wireless access points. Right here you have a wireless access point. That's the drop that's not connected to anything else. So you could have an audio enhanced classroom that would have some sound equipment connected in here, and all kinds of peripherals. In this room in the middle, this is a computer lab, so you'd have several computers lined up. This could be like a library or any kind of classroom. If you have a general purpose room like this one, then that's where you would have multiple computers for common use, like a teacher's room or another type of room. And then in the computer room, in the server room, you would be connecting out to other buildings. So this would all go over high-speed network connection. Some of your schools or office buildings might have thin client as their strategy. So when with thin client, if you think of when you go into a hotel, just as an example, and there's a computer, like a screen in the lobby, and you can put your flash drive in it and print something, or you can log in and get your boarding pass or things like that. That's thin client. So all of those computers are connected to a server and controlled by server software. But at each station, you have certain software preloaded that they often have the Word or the Microsoft Suite, and usually a PDF reader like Acrobat. Then there's an internet browser, whether it's you know, Chrome or Safari or Internet Explorer or whatever it is. And when they turn these off, each time they start up again, they start up with a fresh copy. So they don't carry any of the login information or any of the files that were created previously, because those all have to be stored in a cloud or someplace else. So this is a very nice way to have a school lab set up. So for protective technologies, you have network security, web security, and email security. These are the three types of securities, the main three that you have going on in your school. So the network security protects your network from intrusions from outside. That's why you have a firewall, that's part of it. You might have a VPN, and a VPN is a virtual private network, and it would allow you to log in from home and connect to your network, and you would feel like you were in the building connected. So if you were logged in over a VPN, I used to kind of like that because you could actually print on the company printers or the school printers and pick it up, or have someone else pick it up and distribute it. So you would see all of that there. You could get onto your teacher drive or your whatever you needed by accessing through a VPN. When you have, and in your email security, that includes like virus protection, spam protection, and it will eliminate some of the phishing emails. And you may still get some in your email that you have to watch for, because even though these security systems are updated frequently, they don't necessarily catch everything. But if you were ever to see what these this like the spam filter or the virus protection caught, you'd be amazed at just how many attempts there are at attacking your email. And then the virus protection for your browser, you have virus protection, content filtering, spyware protection, and these are to keep your internet browsing safe. And there are different levels of security here. So you might have a prompt that shows up that you have to decide whether you want to allow something going to that page, or whether this content may be blocked, and you have to decide if you're going to override it. In a lot of schools, that you're not allowed to override it, so you have to go through the tech people to ask them to let you get at it. This is common with content filtering. So with content filtering, there are two approaches. One is blocking, one is called filtering. And when it's blocking, then the content filter has a list of websites that are blocked. And these are updated regularly as more viruses or more sites are discovered that are malware sites or whatever. And so if you try to go out to these, then you get the message that it's blocked. If it's content, if it's filtering, then that's by concept or certain words that you're not allowed to go to. So, say you're not allowed to go to porn sites or sites with violence or things like that. The filter screens for certain words, and then you're not able to access these sites. And so sometimes you have to ask to have these unblocked. If you're studying wars, like in social studies class, then you want to be able to access the sites about World War II or whatever you're reading about. Similarly, if you're in a health class and you're studying breast cancer, you need to be able to go to that, even though the word breast may be filtered out. So here's just a little review of each type, and I'm making this available to you to look at afterwards. I'll post the slides in addition to this little video. Spyware protection, again, that's very important because there are so many different types of malware out there. And today I find that even if you're having a conversation, Google or whoever is listening to you and you start getting pop-up ads about it, or going to the website or something like that, they're all over. You might get an email about something that you were having a conversation about and just have to delete it. So then virus protection, again, there are certain tools that you could download that would help to block the viruses, and there are others that your server or your computer's downloading. I know I work on a Microsoft Surface a lot of the time, and in Windows there's a security software, the Defenders, and I could also have Norton Symantec, or I could have McAfee or something else in addition. I usually go with the Windows one, and I have the security set pretty high, so I'm not getting a lot of stuff that I'm not interested in. And again, this is the difference between content filtering and blocking. So when you have companies that do this, and you would have the software installed on your server in the school or wherever the main building is that you're working in, and this would all be happening and updated on a regular basis, at least daily, if not more often. So this is just a network that includes multiple buildings. And this is what the network administrator looks at. This is what the console looks like. So they see all kinds of traffic going in and out. They can see issues that pop up or dead zones that pop up. So then they can, take steps and repair it, often before you even realize that there's a problem. So those are the basics of networking that we want to talk about for Module 2. And that's about as much detail as you really need to know. But there's a lot more that you could know. So there are several readings provided, and you can take a look at those. You can go as deep into the websites as you want to. But there's an assignment that goes along with this, and it's a network walkthrough assignment. So I would like you to take a walk through your school or your building, and usually people walk through this with their tech director or tech support person or network administrator. And I'm hoping that this is still going to be possible with the current climate, because I feel that it's an important assignment. People learn a lot, and it helps to see everything up close. and to listen to someone who works with this on a day-to-day basis, because it's a little more challenging than the person in the classroom or at their desk realizes once they get into it. So let me know if you have an issue. A lot of times people are able to buddy up with someone who's in the class who does have access, and they can walk through together. So that's also kind of a nice opportunity to meet someone in the class face to face that you have been seeing online but haven't met. So just keep that in the back of your mind. So when you're walking through, you want to go into a few different rooms and see what's in there. You want to see what the hardware looks like in the server room, see what the wiring closets look like, and how things seem to be connected. You want to compare a few classrooms, what's in them, what's the setup. Do you have, like in the older days, we would have 5 or 6 drops, sometimes 7 drops in a classroom. And that would be for a few computers over on the side, a teacher computer, a printer, and, that would be it. Now you might have a laptop cart hooked up to a drop on the side, and you might have a wireless access point, and everything in the classroom is wireless. You might have an interactive whiteboard or something which takes up a drop. A projector takes a drop. A classroom amplification system takes a drop. So take a look and see what kinds of hardware are being used and how it's connected. Sometimes people like to take some pictures, which is nice. It's helpful to be able to see this. Also, take a look at find out how the history of the building is. So the history of the network. And, if you're in an older building, whether it's an office or a school, then your building may have been constructed with brick and mortar, and it may be older and hard to run the wires through. So that's when you see a lot of times things up the walls. So the initial network might have been just a ring of computers with the server and a couple of printers. And then they'd add on a lab here, add on a few more building or rooms over there. Maybe at the beginning they didn't think that certain people were going to need access to technology, so they didn't bother to put anything in those rooms. And so they've been adding on gradually. I call that piecemeal. Or it may be that in a newer building, the network was set up from the beginning, planned from the beginning, and rolled out as the building opened. So just find out how that is. The deliverable for this, here's an outline to go along with it. So I'd like you to submit a Word document with the information that's listed in the bullets. It should probably be 3 to 5 pages. Everybody writes differently. Some people take a lot of words to explain something, and some people are very concise. But your description should be descriptive. It shouldn't just be a sentence to address each one of these bullets. And I am asking for a Word document, so if you happen to work in Google Docs, then please download the file as a Microsoft Office Word document. So I know that it's possible because I do it myself. I'm asking you not to submit a PDF, because what I like to do is to download these so that I can review them, and I insert my scorecard and I type comments, and so I can't do that in a PDF, and I'm not going to do it in a Google Doc that's yours. So I'm asking for this Word document. And if you have any comments or questions, you can always feel free to email me. I try to be very responsive. Or you can also check in the water cooler. Thank you.